Hello, friends and family of Revolution Church. I hope you are doing well today. Also want to wish you a happy Easter Monday. I know it's late in the evening. Some of you might not see this until tomorrow, but I've been spending some time today reflecting on what Easter Monday usually means for me. I like to refer to this day as the Great Clergy Crash. It's when all church pastors or clergy, all volunteers who've been working so hard through Lent and Holy Week, experience the aftermath of that sort of crash. And I usually spend the day resting and basking in the glory of the truth of that empty tomb, that Jesus Christ is alive. But as I've shared with many of you and you have with me, this Holy Week and Easter have been different. Some of you have said, it doesn't feel like Easter. I saw a colleague of mine, a pastor colleague, say this in reflection on this day. We celebrate and we cried, He is risen. But sometimes it felt like maybe that was in an empty room or a somber room that echoed. And maybe some of you woke up today still feeling like you were in the tomb. Just doesn't quite feel like Easter. And yet the truth of that empty tomb, that Jesus is alive today, the truth of the resurrection is foundational to our faith. As Christians, as followers of Christ, not just as a future hope of glory, but as a reality of transformation that we can experience right here and right now. So what does resurrection look like today in the midst of a global pandemic? How can we look for hope in the midst of a terrible season? And I wanted to share with you today that is what our next teaching series is about, entitled Resurrecting Me. I had this planned before. We're going to stick with it. I'm adapting it a little bit so that we can reflect and ask that question together. How can we look for hope in the midst of a terrible season? How can we experience transformation right here and right now? So we're going to do this by going to Scripture and looking at the people that Jesus encounters after his resurrection, before his ascension, and see how he encounters those people and how he transforms their fear and their grief and their shame and their doubt. And then ask, how can we experience that transformation today, knowing that the risen Christ is with us always? So I hope you'll join us for that in the weeks to come. But also today in this sort of check-in, beginning of week 5 of our quarantine, I just wanted to ask, how are you doing? How are you and your family doing? If you're anything like me, you started this time out sort of with a lot of energy, maybe adrenaline of all the decisions and changes that need to be made, and then you started, and that rolled for me right into Holy Week and the creative planning and building up to Easter, and now on this side of it, with the finish line of our time of quarantine not yet in sight. It's easy to feel sort of disillusioned, discouraged, maybe just exhausted, even just 5 weeks in. It's a long time, this change of schedule and pace, and that finish line is still not yet in sight. Some of you all know that I enjoy running, but when I do run, I need to know how far away I am from the car, from a source of water in the bathroom at all times. You can just ask my husband. I do not do adventure runs where I don't know where the trail leads because I worry I'm not going to make it back. It's not easy when we don't know where the finish line is. And it's easy to worry. And so that's why I wanted to ask us today, how are you doing? My former professor, Dr. Kate Bowler, I've shared some of her work with you before. She says this: to face down the uncertainty and the darkness, we need 2 things. We need a rhythm and we need community. To face down the uncertainty of the darkness, we need a rhythm and we need community. And so I've linked the guidelines from the CDC as well as our governor that you've probably seen before of ways that we can keep tabs on our mental health during this time. And a lot of that is by keeping a rhythm. Even with everything else kind of in flux and our schedules have changed, a lot of stuff has been canceled. We may feel like we don't have much to look forward to. We can still mark time and keep a rhythm. We can still take breaks from social media and the news. We can still get outside and exercise and try to sleep and eat well and we can still be checking in on each other. Because that leads to the second thing we need, that we have been reminded of in this time apart, of our deep need for community. I love the question that John Wesley used to ask in his class meetings, those early class meetings of the Methodist movement that would form into what we know as small groups or house groups. Participants would ask each other, "How is it with your soul?" That is, at your very core, at your very being, how are you doing? So I want you to spend some time thinking and reflecting on that today. Ask yourself honestly, how is it with my soul? And then I want you to reach out. I want you to reach out and ask that to your friends and family, to your house group, to people that you love, and share that honest conversation. How is it with your soul? And if you need help, reach out to those people, family and friends, to your house group, to me, to the church staff and I who are here. We love you. We're praying for you. And we would love to have a video chat with you just to check in, pray with you, just to touch base. And then as a community of faith, as a people of faith who want to love and serve others well, love God and love others well, I think that question, how is it with my soul, leads us to ask each other, how is it with your soul? Which leads us to then check in on one another and to love each other well. And that can lead to even a third question of, God, show me who to love right now. I believe that as people of faith, we can be people that are signs of hope in the midst of a terrible season for others around us. I've seen so many great examples already, whether a call or a text or painting a neighbor's sidewalk with chalk or stopping by to say hello from the driveway, of creative ways that I've already seen you guys love each other well. And so in some time of prayer and reflection of asking, God, show me who to love right now. Maybe there's a name of someone who will come to your mind, a name of a neighbor or of a distant family member, of someone, a friend you haven't checked in with for a while, who may need a little bit of extra love and encouragement. And who knows, the way that you reach out could be the sign of hope that they need to get through the day, but could also be a sign of hope for us as Easter people, learning to live in this Easter reality, that we are signs of hope right here and right now by the love that we share. We are signs that God is still doing beautiful things all around us. And so ask those questions. How is it with my soul? Ask someone else, how are you doing? And then ask God, who do I need to love right now? Who needs your love and message of hope right now? Friends, I hope you have a great week. I'm praying for you, and I look forward to starting our new series here on this coming Sunday, Resurrecting Me. We'll worship together on Sunday, and I look forward to that day. So God bless you. Hang in there, and I'll be seeing you soon.